Is AARO going bye-bye? Are they Dunsky? Is it the end of AARO potentially telling lies? We don't know. I think that they've been covering up shit. A lot of people think they were legit. A lot of people think they were covering up crap. You get someone like Sean Kirkpatrick that was in there for so long, and you don't trust that guy. And he was running shop for quite a while. So why do I say this? Well, ever since the chain of events happened from Obama saying aliens were real, and then backtracking a little bit, but enough to where Trump then said, he shouldn't be saying that. That's classified stuff. Let me say it. But guess what? We're going to release everything. We're releasing it all. And now it seems like there's been a little bit more movement from those people, the Lunas and Burchett, and all of them. They've been moving towards trying to get more information and declassify stuff that they have had problems getting access to. Now, one of the biggest roadblocks, I mean, at least since I've been covering it, I think for quite a while, has been AARO. AARO has consistently said that there's been nothing there. They've been gatekeepers. There's been talks of whistleblowers who just don't feel comfortable with them. There was, of course, the whole thing that happened with David Grush, with Sean Kirkpatrick, who was running it. And after David Grush came out and spoke at the hearing, that guy went on like LinkedIn and made some post about it. And there was a lot of shade around him in general. And then they tried to clean it up and make it look a little bit more legit. But no one involved in the space has ever really trusted them. So much was the case that Repp Luna, who's been out doing a lot of press about this and a lot of press about getting more information in the declassification that has been ordered by the White House, that she tweeted out this. She said that she's going to be recommending to the chairman of DOJ, Tim Burchett, that we completely disband and defund AARO. To which Gary Nolan then said, "Thank you. I wholeheartedly agree. They are a waste of taxpayer money." Now, right away, it wasn't much time at all for Burchett to write back immediately. I feel like they probably have offices down the hallway, but whatever. They're tweeting and we're seeing it. He responds and he says, "Agreed. They are done." He said, that's it. He's fed up with it too. And as you saw, as I was posting, there's UAP James, who's just the master at getting a lot of this stuff and a lot of this information. I highly recommend following him on X. He posted this thing that Ross Coldhart had talked about with AARO, and I want to play this video.
The indications from the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, that any such disclosure or revelations would be run through the office of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, that is the Pentagon's UFO Investigation Office, that would be a tawdry debacle disaster for any kind of meaningful UAP transparency. Although I do respect Dr. John Kozlowski, the head of AARO, I have no respect for that institution whilst it's under the thumbscrews of the Pentagon, who frankly have no interest in UAP disclosure and are doing everything they can to disinform, lie, cheat and deceive the public about what they really know. If there is going to be some kind of UFO disclosure, it really does need to be put on the record at the time that this happens that people in the Pentagon have consistently lied, not just to the American public, but also to the Congress. And on what legal basis can officers of the American military lie to Congress? Have they forgotten their constitutional obligations? This is going to be a very interesting reckoning if, indeed, it is right that President Trump is going to make some kind of UAP disclosure. If they are attempting to justify their lies and deceit by resorting to a confidential executive order made during the Truman and Eisenhower administrations, then they are dishonoring their commission. Officers of the US military should never lie in that context, especially not to Congress. That would be a despicable act, and these people should be held to account if and when such lies and malicious deceit are revealed. It's a very grave issue, this, and I think this is going to be one of the big issues for UAP disclosure. If the president does decide to make a revelatory disclosure about the existence of non-human intelligence and the recovery of non-human technology, it really is going to have to be explained extremely well why the public and the Congress and the world have been lied to for over 80 years.
As I get older, that I'm doing things right. And I was feeling the change as I was getting older, and everything that was easy beforehand, it just wasn't anymore. I think it started to really hit me about 5 years ago. And now, even as I was starting to work out, I could feel it. It didn't matter if I was eating well or whatever. I felt like sometimes I was just kind of slugging along. And here's the thing. Most men start losing testosterone around the age 30, about 1% every year after that. So I keep it simple, and I'm doing something natural that supports my body where I need it. And that was why I was excited to hear about Mars Men. What is it? It helps your body unlock usable testosterone so you can feel like yourself again. Because what I learned about it was that your body makes testosterone, but a lot of it gets locked up and it can't be used. And there's a protein called SHBG. It basically handcuffs your testosterone. Even if your body's making it, SHBG locks it up. You can't access it. It's like having money in the bank, but your debit card is not working. So Mars Men is designed to help free lock testosterone so your body can actually use it. There's no synthetics. There's no needles, just real ingredients that help optimize energy, focus, and strength. What's great about it is there's now stronger physical performance, fast recovery from the gym, more consistent, natural energy. It's not like drinking a cup of coffee. It's a steadier sense of drive throughout the day. Supports healthy T levels, energy, stamina. 8 natural clinically dosed ingredients, made in the USA, and it's third-party tested. There's a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk with that. So the worst case is you don't like it, and you get your money back. But over 91% of users report higher energy levels. Thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. Just check out the reviews on the website and go check it out yourself. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping, 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. Perfect way to kick off the new year strong. That's mengotomars.com. You get 50% off and 3 free gifts at the checkout. So you're going to purchase, and then they're going to say, hey, where'd you hear about us? You got to support our show, and you got to tell them that we sent you. Go check it out. Mars Men. A lot there. Well said to Ross Coldheart there. Clearly frustrated, and rightfully so frustrated on all this. And we're starting with the beginning where he's talking about AARO and how if that's the case, if Trump and the White House is like, well, yeah, we're going to find out everything else that we need to find out, and AARO's going to handle it. As he says, disaster, just don't even try, because they've been trying for so long and been clearly under the thumb, as he says, of people who want to keep this quiet, and that's why they're the lapdogs for those people who want to do that. So I agree with him wholeheartedly there. There makes no sense that they would do that. Hence why Luna is saying to Burchett, hey, disband these fools. Get rid of them. Get them out of our way so we can go and find out the information that we need to, so they don't have that one step of protection that they've had for so long. To which Burchett says, yeah, it's exactly what I'm going to do. They're done. Gone. But here's the rub. The thing is, and what you also have to understand is, even though there are people that maybe they are keeping secrets from the White House and keeping secrets from the president, and keeping secrets from all that stuff, does not mean that those same people, and some of them anyway, are in tight with the president, are in tight with certain higher ups in the way that they can say, hey, we need this because of this. And they might have more clout than, say, a Tim Burchett or a Luna or a Burleson. They might not. But there's a reason why they've stayed in power for as long as they have. It's a house of cards. They've been doing these things the way that they've been doing it, in the way that they've been doing it successfully, as Ross said, for 80 plus years. So the idea that they're just going to fold and it's just going to be like, oh, yeah, well, he says it's time to disband it now. There's going to be a fight back because of it. And so NASA and AARO, who seem to never know anything or even the thing that is always weird about both AARO and NASA to me, it's almost they would take like kind of like a note about when it looks so, when there's something out there. If AARO or NASA would both be like, look, here's some of these things that we've seen, some of these videos, and we can't necessarily say what it is, but we know we haven't seen anything, but this is interesting. This could be something. If they did that, you'd be like, oh, okay, they're on the same page, and they're trying to look for things, but they're so definitive, like, no, it's nothing at all. It's just like, but there's tons of people who say that some of these things are just not explainable. But we know, we've seen everything. There's nothing. Now, just stop talking about it. It's almost like the same people that are talking about, oh, no, the Epstein files are done. Don't worry about the Epstein files. It's over. Nobody cares anymore. It's not true. We care. And we care about this. And we want to know more about this. Hence why more people are talking about it. Hence why they're looking around and trying to figure out exactly why there's been so many secrets for so many years. I happen to agree. I think AARO's worthless. I think that if you're out on the outside and you don't pay attention to this, you don't know what AARO is, and you say, and someone says, they have an official government organization that looks into it. It's called AARO. You're like, oh, okay, cool. But when you dive in deep about what they've done, and if you're in the community, most people in the community would say unnecessary. Put other people who are trying to actually find questions out and ask these questions. And you look at someone like a Burleson who still doesn't definitively say, I believe in extraterrestrials or I believe in this stuff. He says there's enough questions out there to find out what is going on. I would rather that person be looking into things than person like, I don't know, nothing. I don't know, never seen anything. No, nothing. We trust Sean Kirkpatrick to run everything. Oh, yeah, I never met with Brandon Frugal. Never. What's that picture of you and him? Clone, AI. They didn't have AI back then. Back then they did. We didn't know. He never said that, but that's the kind of shit that's kind of excuse. He did say that he literally was sitting with Brandon Frugal in an interview and then said, no, that never happened. Oh, I was there for a second, but it just stinks. It all stinks. So and the other thing is that it cuts out the fat. Just have one organization looking into it. Find out the answers, and whether it's nonsense, no nonsense, what is the answer overall? That's what I'm curious to see. What's going to happen overall? What say you guys? Do you think AARO should be disbanded? Do you trust AARO? And the other thing that comes with this, do you think that there's more of these conversations? And the other thing that, as Ross was saying, unfortunately, I do think that there's tons of people who lie. There's tons of people, yeah, sure. Their duty says that they shouldn't, but to protect secrets, they do. Been doing it for a long time. They're going to continue to do it for a long time. The only way is to really show concrete evidence. How we do that, I do not know. Not sure. Maybe they're getting closer. I don't know. Burchett seems to have more confidence in it now. He seems to be pretty tight with the president, who tells him things that he's trying to help out with. It looks like Burchett is the most out of anybody. Burchett kind of took a back seat for a little bit. Or maybe he didn't. Maybe he just stayed out of the spotlight for a little bit. Maybe that's a better conversation. Because at least when I started covering this back in like 2023, he was everywhere. He was very much front and center. And then it kind of shifted a little bit more towards Luna. And at one point, Garcia was in the front of it. And then Burleson really started to take hold and go in the front, and Burchett kind of stepped back a little bit for a little bit. It was like Nancy Mace, and now Burchett is the one that they're tweeting at going, hey, we need you to do this, because he's got the ear of the president. And I think that was always his end game, to understand that once we got to a certain place, that's what he wanted to do. And he continuously is talking to him about that. And he has said this many times over in interviews, that the disclosure was going to come from this president. He's said that on the record many times over. So I think he's been working on that. I think that's one of his plays. So I don't think he has been out of the game, as a lot of people maybe thought he was. I think he's just been playing the game on the sidelines, and now he's back on the field. So we will see overall what happens here. What do you guys think? Put your thoughts in there. Let me know. I appreciate you being here, as always. And we'll see you on the flip side. See you tomorrow, actually.